Let's go to running back.
Vitamin water.
Shall we? Price check for us there, please, Pearce.
Kenneth Gainwell, $5,000. Maybe this one's scary as well, but Miles Sanders, high ankle sprain. He's probably going to be out a couple weeks. One thing we do know that we don't need to worry about is Detroit's run defense is terrible. They've allowed 6 rushing touchdowns. They've allowed 6 receiving touchdowns to running backs, the 3rd most points to running back. I guess if we're trying to get spooky and scary, one of the concerns is that Philadelphia doesn't give the ball to their running backs enough. And we can see Jalen Hurts poach all the touchdowns here. But if you look at the Philadelphia line, when it comes to run blocking for the running backs, they're getting 4.7 yards per carry, so the line's doing the job. And then if you look at last week against the Raiders, which was a negative game script, Philadelphia was down by a ton of points, and still they gave the ball to the running backs 18 times. That's a good step forward. Kenneth Gainwell should be able to get there based on the volume in this great matchup. You got to worry about Boston Scott. You got to worry about Hurts poaching the touchdowns. But through the air and on the ground at this price, it's not going to take much against a bad Detroit team.
All right, we have price check 4 players up to this point. Half of them do not have headshots. This is not like a value play segment. You can't just leave $15,000, $20,000 on the table.
Apparently
you got to
can.
spend it here.
No,
but
Wait till we get to tight end.
Oh,
Pearce
Lord
picking
have
out
mercy.
Tight end threes that aren't even on the roster, man. I mean.
Okay, all right. Well, hey, Geoff, take us to your running back then. Maybe your guy has a picture.
I'm going to throw a little class into the mix here. Let's go with Joe Mixon at 6,900. Yeah. I mean, Joe Mixon really hasn't, he's starting to split carries with Samaje Perine, but he's still the main back there. He's the lead. He's the early down back, especially early in the game. And they're playing the Jets. So if you watched the game last week, you know what Damian Harris did. He went nuts on about 15 carries. I see a similar outcome here for Joe Mixon. Going to get those early down works. Did break off a long 20-yard touchdown late in the game last week against Baltimore, who also isn't great against the run. But the Jets are just getting pummeled by opposing running backs. They can't hold up late in the game to all these carries. And the same game script is going to happen here. Cincinnati's a solid defense. Who knows who's going to be starting at quarterback? So Joe Mixon should be in a high-volume spot to get some carries on the ground. Yeah, he doesn't catch receptions anymore. Who cares in this spot? It doesn't matter because he's probably going to have a great shot at hitting over the 100-yard bonus here. Looks a little bit too cheap considering the opponent.
AJ, which running back has a price you cannot pass up?
Well, you asked for us to spend some money, so here we go. Derrick Henry, 8,900. Top of the price range. Let's not overthink this, guys. 10 touchdowns. That's 4 more than the next closest player. 124.1 yards per game. I think he's worth taking a shot in here. Yeah, okay, the Colts are having a pretty good year in terms of run defense. They've only given up 2 TDs all year round, long, but that's only going to maybe scare a few people away between the price tag and the defense that he's facing, the matchup concerns. I don't have any concerns about it. I expect him to keep rolling, keep running downhill, and he'll rack up some more points.